And we're live. Can you hear me okay? Good, obviously.
Evening, Anna.
How are you doing?
Living the dream.
Awesome. It's been a long time, isn't it? Got to apologise to...
Too long. We've had people messaging both of us saying, well, where the hell are you two doing? Where's the next show, you know?
I know. We're really sorry, guys. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the show. It's been, about 4 weeks, isn't it? I think.
Yeah,
And,
I think what has come out of this, Anna. Oh,
yeah.
Frozen again.
Yeah.
I think what has come out of this is the last few weeks have been quite quiet, actually. And it's been a great time to just get lots done. For me on the farm, you know, we've been busy on the veg beds, prepping for what's coming and, you know, getting lots of stuff in ready for next year and organising food stock and everything, you know, making sure we've got food rolled for the you know, and making sure that we're getting slightly more prepared on a daily basis. You know, there's clearly changes coming. And I think this week with November the 5th approaching in America, there's going to be some big things stack up.
Yeah. Do you know when you say you go, you got to clarify to people that some of them might not be aware what you mean by that.
Oh, what by?
Yes.
I haven't got any unregistered turkeys. I definitely know that much. So
no,
yeah,
just the turkeys. Yeah. So how are your turkeys anyway? Girls are growing big.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Well, see, because they're on food and grass, and the food they're on we've made ourselves. You know, so they've had no vaccines. They've had no nastiness in their food. They've had nothing. They're just on rolled barley, wheat, and oats and things, and lots and lots of grass. And they're just like they're on steroids. They're not, but you know, they're just huge. And like every day you go in the pen now, and they all like want to hustle up to you. You know, I've got 26 boys, and they all like want to fight. You know, they're all puffed up and ready to go.
So you got what? You got half and half girls and half men.
Yeah. Girls are in one pen, boys are in another.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good. At least it's going good in terms of the selling out for Christmas, setting up. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, you know, they should all sell in the next couple of weeks. I'd have thought. But I've not pushed them overly, to be honest. I'm just, you know, letting them run the course, and if I don't sell some, I'll keep some for breeding, to be honest, because I think personally that food is going to be harder to come by next year than this year.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
just my thoughts,
isn't it? Yes. So anyway, so let's kick off then. You kick off with your whatever's the big parts of going on with the farming, but let's just do that. Keep this as a main priority as first, shall we?
Okay. So I think the biggest thing, obviously, the big most topical thing for the UK at present is the fact that the lovely Labour Party has taken the time to change inheritance tax on farms. So now, once a farm changes hands through death, there is a taxation of 40% on the asset value, and that's not how it worked before. So if a farm, you know, if you're sitting on a farm of thousands of, you know, even say a few hundred acres, Anna, you know, which is as a small farm really these days, you know, it's a few hundred acres and it's worth a couple of £1 million. There'll be a farmhouse, there'll be outbuildings, all that gets valued. Then, you know, suddenly you've got £3,000 worth of assets, which is not difficult. And you're then sitting on sort of 12, 13, you know, 100,000. So, you know, sort of 1.2, 1.3 million pound in inheritance tax. And that's just, no farmer's going to have that money sat about. You know, no matter how long the farm's been trading, I don't think most people realise, Anna, that most farmers are on their arse. Most farmers are absolutely struggling to pay the bills. You know, I've had some stupid comments this week on social media, you know, from people who, oh, well, they can still afford to dress in tweed. Yeah, tweed they probably bought 30 bloody years ago. Do you know what I mean? People are just clueless about where the farming community is as a whole at the moment. And I think I can see, you know, we're going to probably, if things don't change and it goes through, we'll probably lose about 70% of our farms in the next 10 years.
Apologies for the sound. We seem to have a gremlin. Sorry. Just apologise if anybody hearing it. We seem to have a tissue somewhere on the way.
Yeah, they don't want us to get this information out. So I'm saying, I think what's going to happen is in the next 10 years, you'll lose 70% of all the family farms because they just will not be able to pay the tax.
Yeah, so clarify. Sorry, Mark, because I haven't really done a huge read up on this because I know it's obviously been fairly recent, and I have my hand
Yeah.
in the different things right now. So you say, so inheritance tax on when you pass on the farm from one generation, one generation to another.
Yeah.
So you pay on literally the value of the whole farm, including the tractors and the
everything.
land.
So the asset, the houses, the barns, the land, everything. So whatever the value of the farm is, you'll get charged 40% of that when it swaps from one generation to another through death. So that,
Right.
I mean, I've been looking into this, Anna, and one of the things which I think farmers could do, and I may be wrong on this, but one is they could put the farm into a trust.
Right.
And then make the rest of the family trustees so that that's dealt with prior to a death.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is they could put it into a limited company, and the asset of the limited company transfers down to the next directors with no inheritance tax. So there is, I think, ways around it, but the problem is, Anna, they're new things, and old farmers, which are still in the old generation, they don't do things like that. They just think they're just going to leave it without a will, and it will go to the kids. And it genuinely is not going to be the case anymore. They're going to absolutely get screwed to the ground over this. It's going to see a huge amount of farmers go to the wall.
Yeah.
Huge amount.
Wasn't there, Mark, with the generally with the inheritance and stuff? You know, there's the clause with like a gifting stuff. So if you gift, say, a land within the space of 7 years before you had it, everything, then it's a gift, so it's technically inheritance free. So could the farmers go down those routes and
not anymore? I don't think. No, I think that's changed. So I've got to be honest, Henry. I've not dug into this in the depth I perhaps need to, and we'll do this coming week. I mean, of what I've seen of everything on it so far, it's an absolute show. I've got to be honest, and it's, in my opinion, people say, "Oh, why have they done that?" Well, we all know why they've done it, because the WEF are going, do this, and smash all the farming community. On from that, Anna, what I will say is that as we see this, the smaller farms disappearing and a lot of this land gets swallowed up, we know why they want to do this. This is a land grab. It's a land grab for the banking industry. It's a land grab for the aristocracy. It's a land grab for the elite. It's a land grab for the likes of big commercialism. One of the things which worries me in all of this, obviously, we've just had these horrendous floods in Spain.
Yeah.
Which I would say pretty much like the ones what hit, America off the East Coast, West Coast.
It was one after another, wasn't it? It was one after
another.
Yeah,
I think that, bear in mind that it came out through California, massive food production area. It's going to have a massive impact on the world. We've now had Spain hit. And I don't know if people realise this, Anna, but 32% of all of the food what comes into the UK comes in from the area in Spain what's just been wiped out.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the next week, stroke 2 weeks, you're going to see food prices spike in the UK like you have never seen.
Yeah, it's very hard, Mark, isn't it? To as an average person, if you're just I don't really know how to box the people. I don't like to box people put people into the boxes. Sure. But generally, if you just go with on your life and things happening, I was like, oh, this is natural disaster. Oh, there's natural disaster in America. Oh, they have them all the time. Oh, there's another one. They have them all the time, but not there. And then suddenly Spain, and then other things been happening across the whole year. And people are like, oh, it's just natural disaster. Oh, this is a climate change. All that. Come on.
Climate change.
I know, but some people do. To some degree, yes, climate is changing, but because, somebody's letting change certain things, of course, let's not be totally oblivious. There are things that are happening with the magnetic fields, the earth, the things are changing, the earth is changing due to all of the other things that are happening, totally. Sure. But, like, a lot of it is just so goddamn obvious to the, that it's all being put on to control the certain things, to get to the certain agenda. And the same thing, I do think we mentioned this, but this year, the solar activity has been meant to be and been predicted to be very strong solar activity. Yes. To the extent where the people were saying, power outages, that EMF, that kind of thing, so things could be wiped out. Obviously, that touch wood hasn't happened, apart from occasional things in America. Few things happened and few things happen here, but we don't really know whether we're to do with the certain things. But suddenly, right? aurora, the magic lights that you have to go to, the other side of the world to see, and suddenly, bloody hell, look, every
They're
freaking
everywhere.
week, and we're in there. But doing the research again on the color scheme of lighting, okay, red and pink doesn't exist in aurora. Apparently it's greens and blues. And if you do, again, some people might call me a conspiracy theorist, but generally have a look on the things in there and look into the project, other things like this, and it's kind of obvious. You froze, or you got to sleep.
Well, what you think? Yeah, what you've got to understand, Anna, is they can tell people what they want because 99% of people have never seen the original version.
No, but it's not. I haven't seen the original version, but it only takes a little bit of understanding of how things work and a little bit of research to suddenly think, hold on a minute.
Yeah, but that's beyond most people, isn't it? Let's be honest. Most people don't think that far ahead of the game. They get up in the morning, they look out the window, if the sun's shining or it's raining, they just go, oh, it's morning. They don't look at the sky like you or I might and go, that ain't right.
No, I know. But that's
we were saying the other day, if the earth is round, then we were working
so you're
on
not believing it's flat, Mark?
I don't know what I believe, but I believe there's more chance of that, or it's extremely bigger than we're told. The sun and the moon were in the sky at the same time, as bold as brass, and it was like, what we were taught at school, that shouldn't be possible. So you have to question everything, Anna, and I think it's an important thing to do. Just don't believe too much what you're told.
No, and as well, this thing as well. That's not a conspiracy, proven fact. The map, the globe, or the map, whatever way you look at it, how unproportionate the true statistic the things are. If you compare like the certain things, again, I urge people who are, if you're interested into finding out generally like the whole stuff that we relied to for many times, they made everything proportionate to fit on a piece of paper as a map. But in fact, the continents are, in fact, a very, very different size to what they are.
Well, absolutely. I mean, my partner's Nigerian. If you look at Africa, the true size of Africa is about three times what they show you on a map.
I thought it was tinier.
No. It's a lot bigger, and that's been deliberately done so that people think that we are in the position of Africa is this insignificant thing where there isn't anything. I know it's big in comparison to Europe, but no, 3 times bigger apparently than what we're told. So that just gives you a clue of what they can get away with by lying to us. And I think everything we've ever been taught, if you question everything, you won't be far out.
No, but the scary part is, how far back does that go? Like, how far back? If you think how old I am, how old you are at school, and grandparents, parents, all been showing the same thing. So we're talking like potentially, I don't know, hundreds of years, thousands of years.
Yeah. Back. Well, if you look back on maps, there's maps in existence that go back to like 1500, which show America and everything else before it was discovered by Columbus. Yeah. There's maps on there which show Antarctica with camels on it, for instance, as a landmass. So it hasn't always been frozen for millions of years. That's quite clear. So if the planet's warming, how come the ice caps are frozen? Because they clearly weren't to start with.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of it. It's a lot of this there, and it's almost like it needs to be, I think, for somebody who, if you've got time on your hands, and if you sort of maybe retired, you've got a lot to do, it's something potentially worth opening kind of worms for and just understanding. Generally, once you start, like we know with any subject, once you have a little spade deep, you're like, hold on a minute, this is like years worth of understanding, reading, and finding things out. It's just not what
I think you've got to be prepared to go. If you start, you've got to be prepared to have a very open mind and go down the rabbit hole, haven't you? And then
deal with it, and then deal with it mentally, I think. Actually,
I'd agree, because that is one of the things which I think, when I talk to a lot of people, they say they kind of struggle with more than anything is, bear in mind that if you're not careful, Annie, you can end up questioning literally everything you've ever been taught. So to do that and to understand that, you're then in the position that you look at it and you go, Christ, and everything, even down to the English language. once you start looking at it and you actually start breaking it down and learning what words are and what words mean, how we've been played with words in the law, the law of the land. This is the law of the land. Well, if it's the law of the land, why are we working under maritime law? When you go to court, why do you stand in the dock? If you're not working under maritime law, there's so many things, that are in the wording of our, legal system that all say we at some point had a different law system to what we've got now. And common law was chucked out the window, and we've all sold on this maritime law, what they, gave permission for captains to use when they were traveling around the world, stealing people's land.
Yeah, but finally talking about the law stuff, right? It's sorry, we're obviously digressing as we normally do, guys. We digress as a subject, guys. But we spoke to Mr. Vobes, didn't I? And obviously you have a contact with him, and he does a lot of videos. But they talk about the laws. There's a lot of videos out there in terms of questioning or actually accessing the old time law, and apparently few people have been successful in terms of preaching by those kind of laws. And something that I feel like I wanted to do at some point, I know it's not a subject of this, but generally, just because you talked about the law parts, I'm like, it's very interesting, because if everybody really did, like digressing again with the quack quack cheese in the registration of the chickens, and you froze. Are you back?
No,
yeah,
the registration of the
okay, the registration of the chickens, and there was a petition going on. Let's register all the chickens, like frozen chickens, blah blah blah, and people clearly did. And the system crashed when it came to not to register my chickens online. Sorry, register my chickens online. Couldn't register them online because the system was down apparently. So we heard. So
well, it's funny because a friend of mine phoned DEFRA and said he needed to register the bird. And he went all the way through, and the lady went through taking all the details on the phone because he said he couldn't read and write. She went through doing it all on their internal system, and he got right down to the last point. And he said, just one question. He said, if I've got a marriage certificate, do I actually need to register her as well? One of my mates phoned up. One of my mates works for Bernard Matthews in their freezer section, and he rang up to register 18,000 chickens. And
what was the response to that?
They weren't very happy.
No. Things that whack the floor.
Just brilliant. This is what people need to do, though. Just fight back against the bullshit.
Yeah, but thing is as well, I found the flaw so far that, as I understand, you can, or I can, register house over there that's got chickens or doesn't have chickens, because you don't really require. There's no check against your name and address, is there? I don't think.
Well, Anna, I'll question that. I went in to buy food the other day.
Yeah.
And I went in to get something special I needed for them. Like grit. And I was asked, could I have a postcode, please? So I said, why? I was paying by cash. She said, we're not allowed to sell it now without knowing where it's going.
Oh, no, shut up.
I
Seriously?
said, sorry? She said, yeah. She said, we must have a trackable in case. She said, it's in case, I quote, there's a problem with the grit and they need to recall it. They know who to contact.
The food. So they're blaming us on food. They control the food where it goes to. Okay, we'll make up the postcode then, can't you? Is that, like, seriously?
No. You now have to be registered with, this is Mole Valley Foods. You have to be registered with them to buy food, and you must give your postcode against your address to be able to buy it.
Not be funny, but if you technically register your chickens or birds, then why do you need to double register? Do we now come to the time we'll have to register? Oh, let's register this, the same thing. So make sure that if you like to
I think what it is that gets around the fact of all the people will get caught who haven't registered. That's obviously what it's about long term.
Can you tell them do you buy this for yourself or to feed your wife?
Well, there is another side to this, Anna. If you go in and buy wild bird seed, you don't need a postcode.
Well, no, because you can buy wild bird seed from an average like home bargain type thing.
Sure. Yeah.
So what if it's not for your turkeys or chickens? So you can say this, you're literally feeding yourself or stocking up your pantry for the disaster preparedness, just to put some water in it. What's that then?
Well, the whole thing's nonsense. We've got, what I think people have got to start doing is, there's so much BS going on especially under this government. I mean, it's just ridiculous that, you know, people have really got to stand up and fight back, and they need to fight back en masse. And that's the, you know, the conclusion. I think I've seen this on a lot of the within, you know, what the political group which I follow, let's say, you know, they are very hard hitting back at all of this. So, you know, I think over the forthcoming weeks, I mean, I don't know if you've seen this as well, but on the 19th of November at 11 o'clock, the farmers are going to Westminster, the National Farmers Union, who I think are worth...
Mark, hold on. You said, go again, please. Sorry, because it's
What's
crackled.
That?
It wouldn't record. I think if it crackles, they would record, because we're recording as well. Please, so 19th
of November at 11 a.m. we're going to Westminster. All the farmers are going down there with tractors and whatever else. They're encouraging the public to go and support them, because, Anna, this is not what's going on. The National Farmers Union have booked this appointment with Westminster. Personally, I don't trust the NFU or the government, so nothing good's going to come out of this, I'm sure. So, but the farmers are going to Westminster, and they are going to take the fight to them. And I think the public needs to go en masse. I think it's a Tuesday. If anyone's in the city, they need to be there and just show their support for this, because this isn't about an attack on farming. This is about the attack on our food supply. And that's what people don't realise. They go, oh, this is about inheritance tax. It's not. It's nothing to do with inheritance tax. Yes, that's a way to shut the farms down. It's just another kick in
the outcome,
the teeth.
Isn't it, afterwards,
But it's what it comes down to. See, I don't know. Did you watch the Joe Rogan show the other night where he had Trump on there?
Yes, I watched it through the other channel.
Well,
I haven't watched the whole of it, but through John.
Well, one of the things on there they've been talking about is obviously KFJ, the junior Kennedy.
Make America great again.
He's been talking for years and years and years about wanting to pull to bits the pharmaceutical industry, and the, you know, and big pharma and so forth, and big commercial farms. So him and Trump and Elon Musk have teed up to try and bring the Republicans home. And I've got to be honest, I think if they don't win, when you see the crowds they're getting, if they don't win, then someone's fiddled the election, I would say. But what they want to do, and you can see the system's going to fight back against this, Anna, with the most vile passion they can bring to the table, because they want to get rid of all big farmers. They want to close down all the pharmaceutical companies. They want to get it right back. So Trump show a report on there which was just mind-blowing. So Americans as a nation
you talk about the health stuff.
They spend more money on being healthy than any other nation in the world. Yet they die younger than everybody else. And it was like, well, how the hell?
Roughly, wasn't it? As an average, by 10 years. Yeah,
by 10 years. And it's like, well, how does that stack up? You know, so they're saying, you know, they want to make the nation healthy again. When you look at, you know, they have 1,000 more chemicals in their food than what we do in Europe. What are banned in Europe and they're not banned in America, you know, and you think to yourself, wow.
I've seen.
You got to wonder people are ill. I mean, one of the things, Anna, which I'm working on at the moment, I'm working on launching a new company called Bowler Hat Food Services. And that is all about bringing good quality. And I mean, and I'm not just talking about a nice product. I'm talking about natural health products. So what I want to be able to do, we obviously grow vegetables on the farm, and we've spent a lot of time on making sure that the soil is really, really rich. So we've done away with, you know, over the course of the last few years, doing away with the glyphosates on the farm, doing away with nitrogen on the farm, and changing the areas which I farm, you know, on the farm here, which are vegetables, adding a lot of natural product to that to make it good quality soil, make it richer. So, you know, we've gone down the road of, you know, we adding lots more manure, adding lots more of the coir compost, adding lots more of bios to make sure that the bioculture's right. We've put in wormeries, we're putting in bee gardens to attract the insects, whatever we can do to make the soil better, right?
Yeah.
And that's having a reflection on the quality of the food that comes out the other end. So I'm not talking about how it looks, just the physical goodness you get in your body takes from that food.
Yeah.
So that's what we want, with the new company. What we're going to be doing is going down the road of making sure that all of the food we bring to the table to sell is at the highest possible nutritional value that we can possibly sell. Because I think in the future, Anna, that we're going to have categories for food taxation, right?
No doubt. Well, the amount of stuff that's in it, the more
I think what they'll do is if you've got natural food, it'll be taxed higher.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it makes sense to do that. Because then cheap food is what people will buy, and if they can only buy cheap food, no matter what quality it is, that's what they'll buy. So if we're not careful, but I think what will happen is the political party that I'm part of, let's say, I think that they would reform things, as to speak, and they want to go very much down the road of the American, of what Trump and them are talking about.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, so shall we just tell the people? Obviously, we're talking about the covered with the Trump and they were talking about the whole thing about the Make America Healthy Again.
Yeah.
With the parties, they talk about pesticides. Obviously, it wasn't just it was pesticides, but it was many other things amongst that ended up being in their food. Not always just the stuff that they obviously grow and the stuff in a really poor soil, but was contaminated. We had in the UK, and we covered this, didn't we, before? But also the pharmaceuticals that are involved in adding on stuff, but just their foods in general, even like comparing, and I've seen videos like tomato ketchups and stuff. In the UK, say we have 10 ingredients. In America, they have like 40 or 60. Don't quote me, but slight exaggeration. But many things there, again, many foods in there have been forbidden. In the different countries because they have contained cancerous foods and all sorts of nasty stuffs in there.
Absolutely.
Some people are aware of that. But then, in the thing, he was like wondering, and we're like, well, is that possible? I know he was a bit sarcastic, but is that possible that, why the population life expectancy is 10 years below? Well, yeah, because don't mind me having the takeaway McDonald's and having a 2.5 freaking liter Coke as a standard beverage. And then we're wondering, why? Why on earth? Not everybody will drink that and eat that, but it exists, but it's pushed upon them. Like all the pharmaceuticals or other companies they want them to have that. They make it in abundance because
the thing is, they're trying to keep everybody ill, aren't they? Because while everybody's ill, they can sell drugs at $100 a dose or £100 a dose to make you health or to get rid of the problem, the cause, not resolve the issue. Because the issue isn't take this tablet and it'll go away. The issue is stop drinking and shit. And it'll go away, or stop eating crap and it'll go away. But I think, as we both know, Anna, that the whole food industry worldwide is completely upside down.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a complete public-driven revolution on food. Yeah. And it needs to come from the bottom. If people go to supermarkets and say, if you don't stop selling this crap, I'm not coming in anymore. Right?
Sorry, sound gone again. Sorry.
Just saying that if people go to the supermarkets, which are the biggest suppliers of food, and simply say to them, I am not coming here shopping again until you stop selling this crap. They'd have to get back. Anna, what we need more celebrity chefs pushing the fact of how to make good quality food from basic raw ingredients.
Yeah, but don't forget, Mark, they're all freaking sponsored. Like, name, but they all spend like Tesco's or Sainsbury's. They're all there, fed by them. They represent them. They have no option anymore to say, let's do that. No, all of them, apart from maybe a Nigella, bless her. I love Nigella. She was always
I don't know. She was Marks and Spencer's girl, wasn't she?
Only just for the advert, I think. But generally, when I've seen, she goes shopping because she lived. I don't know if she does now, near the market. So she goes in the street, unless it's all pretend. And she's picking up the things in the market. That's amazing. Great. If that's the case. But
Anna, look, from my side, I'm a nobody, with a bowler hat and, people, follow me. and I've got now, I think, I'm heading up towards sort of 30,000 followers across social media. You've got a massive platform now. And, you know, with no due respect, Anna, before you started this, did anybody know who you were?
Well, no, with the channel, no, of course not. Of course
No,
not.
of course not. So, you know, we now live in a very different world. There must be people out there, Anna, that are really good quality chefs, cooks, whatever you might like. My partner, she's extreme, you know, brilliant at cooking, and she set up a TikTok page, you know, and she, you know, does when she's cooking and things, and people love it. There must be people out there who are keen cooks that want to launch channels, or maybe even have, and you know, that we just aren't aware of yet, that we could help assist push, because you know, we live in a very different world now, Anna, and I think that is that gone again. I think we live in a very different world now, and we hold the power to influence the public. Maybe only a tiny amount, but the people that watch us and follow us, if we say, listen, this person's teaching, you know, from my side, I talk about you on my channel and say, you know, oh, you know, we've got too many tomatoes. You know, you might want to follow Anna because Anna does, you know, teaches how to pickle and do preserves. And I know that people have followed me from you and you from me. I know that because people who watch have left comments saying, why are you not done Anna's show this, you know, recently? Because, you know, we've been missing you. So we have the power as in individuals and our shows and social media as a whole now, I think, to start building the world we want. So if you and I was to get together with people who enjoy cooking, and say, right, you know, from my side now, wanting to get into selling that level of food, we need people to promote using and enjoying and cooking with that level of food, because, you know, kids, what do they know about cooking food? Well, go to McDonald's and it takes 3 minutes. You know, that's what they know, and I don't want to be part of that. I mean, I don't eat that trash for nothing. You know. I was talking to my mum earlier. My mum's, she's, you know, cooks everything from scratch, good cook. And she made the point to me earlier about, you know, she was talking about Donald Trump, and I was talking about that, and she said, can't understand him, dear. She said, because he goes to Mackie D. I said, he does, Mum. I said, but he says it's not about the quality, it's about the flavour. I said, but that flavour you can get anywhere if you know how to do it. You know, it's only down to what ingredients is in that burger. So there must be people. So, you know, watching your show now, Anna, I don't know how many people are out there, you know, going to see this video, but it's going to be thousands. If there is somebody out there watching this show that is extremely good at cooking, or that has a cooking show, contact us, let us know, let's get you on. And, you know, both of our channels, and start, you know, trying to push this forward, because I think this comes down to us guys now to start making a change. You know, this change needs to come from the bottom up. It ain't going to come from the top down, that's for sure, because they've got too much to lose. You and I have nothing to lose. Yeah.
Thing is, it's hard, isn't it, for when we said before, like somebody commented, like, what we're going to see, are we going to see 25p veg or 15p veg, whatever they were last time? And I must say, I had a well of a time of stocking up, buying them, you know, chopping them up and blanching them and dehydrating them to get, because, well, however good or bad they are, whatever they have, it's still a food to put in your pantry. It's very hard, isn't it, for people to, even with the cooking shows, try to promote, say, I would love to go to the market on a daily basis and buy food. My market's about an hour away, and even though half of the food's still imported. So for many people, it's very hard to do it, but it's got to be other way, or even just an understanding, like we said before, in many cases, just an understanding of what is happening. Just once you plant the seed in the people's head, whoever might not be able to do something, they might be able to influence other people. You're just having that planted seed to, I think twice in many things now. When I go past the milk like in the supermarket, like, you find a powder, you know, that kind of thing. You know, it's knowing stuff. And many other bits I go by like, yeah, I don't think so. That kind of thing. So it's going to take a while, I think, to get to find a way.
I agree. I don't know if you've seen on the news today that you know, again across the pond, they've actually started rationing eggs today because they have so few eggs being produced because of all the flu.
Which country? I haven't seen that.
This is in the US. Because they've culled so many birds because of alleged bird flu. That they've now got a shortage of eggs, and that's a direct result of the amount of birds they're culling. So I would say that's pretty likely that's going to happen here this winter.
Oh yeah, it's coming in town near you, isn't it? Whatever time happens there, it just quickly gets here.
Absolutely. So
stock up on eggs.
Yeah, stock up on it. Anna, is there a way in which you can? I know you can pickle eggs, and I have seen people do eggs in I believe a lime water.
Yeah.
Where you can preserve them. Is there a way you can preserve eggs for a long period of time?
Lime you can, but I've read so much, and I wouldn't. The chemicals in lime, and because they still penetrate through the shell, to make sure to get to the the core, the egg itself, you still end up consuming and the stuff that you technically wouldn't want to consume. So it's one of those things. It's first of all, it's only about 60-40% ratio of the eggs that actually make it. Right. So secondly, to me, like the idea of saying put a bunch of 20 eggs in there. So I've got 60 of them that failed, 40 good, or vice versa. It's all depending. And then they're still sitting there in the same water with, manky eggs, potentially, that kind of thing. And I know the Amish preserve it this way, and many people do, but I really don't. I really wouldn't. My personal opinion, my personal choice. Pickling, okay. Pickling is vinegar, right? The pickled anything will outlive the bloody population, providing it's stored correctly. Anything direct, like you see in the even horror movies and stuff, where the people take parts and not go into details, but they keep stuff. I know it's not directly vinegar, but some people do. Anything in acid, pure acid, will sit there for pretty much a long time. So I pickle my eggs, okay, and generally for people, obviously, with chickens, the eggs that was like months and months old. So fresh eggs, if you have fresh eggs from chickens, they can sit in the fridge for a good 4 to 6 months anyway.
I was going to say,
but dehydrating eggs, it's a way forward if you really want to ram up the long-term storage production. You can buy freeze-dried eggs from the States in Amazon or eBay from the States, but they're really a lot. We're talking, I think last time I looked, it was 100-something pound for they call number 5 tin or number 10 tin. I don't know. It's a bigger tin, but you need obviously a few tablespoons to make it. It's that's a lot. It's cheaper to buy a cheap dehydrator, whisk your eggs and dry them, powder them, put the oxygen absorber in there, put them in the jar. Off you go. It literally will cost you, if you're intending to make this your thing. So if you do really want to have eggs for the next 5-10 years, and you have a supply of eggs, if you got your chickens.
Have you seen the comment here? I'd rather eat Mark's bowler hat than McDonald's.
Oh no, I didn't. Sorry, no, I've stopped looking at it. Oh yes, I see. Well, shall we give it a go, Mark? There are people that, funnily enough, though, right? I can swear to God, we're digressing. Swear to God, there are people that are, sorry, it's a bit out there, but people or government plant people to protect certain things, certain brands, certain there. There are moles. I'm 99% sure there are moles planted in every social platform. So if anybody ever slates McDonald's, anywhere, any point I've ever seen somebody saying this is full of shit, it's full of salt, full of this, and it's manky, sits there, doesn't get moldy, there's always somebody that pipes up, well, somebody works in there and their meat is 100% genuine. How freaking do you know? Because it works there flipping them doesn't mean it knows where they come from, right?
Do you know, I do wonder if that's all been run these days by AI, and because it's interesting you say that, because we recently had a drive-through built just outside Bury St Edmunds where I live, and hundreds of us, every time the East Anglian Daily Times, which is kind of our local press, put up an article saying, what great news it was, hundreds of us just bombarded it with not going there, it's trash, and there was always this mirage of people which suddenly appeared to fight it all, and you're like, that's either McDonald's have got a massive amount of people sitting in offices playing Facebook all day, or it's AI, and AI is programmed, to just run those arguments constantly.
It could be, couldn't it? Because AI is quite clever now, isn't it?
It is, and I think that people don't realise half the time they're arguing with a bot, and that's why you can never argue and win, because it's always got the next answers already planned before you've even thought about what your answer is. I think there's a lot of things that people need to take into account now.
It's a scary world, isn't it? It's a scary world.
It is. Food quality is something that's got to change. I mean, for me, in my lifetime, you've seen food it's just trash now. When you walk into a supermarket now, and you've got one aisle what's got, the health food section, or what the hell's the rest of it?
Yeah.
You got a whole supermarket full of crap, and you got one health food section.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just think that if this change comes in America, I just pray to God that in due course it will come over here.
But do you know, like, I had obviously, I don't really cover, and I wanted to do this video, but kind of been suggested not to, because I don't really cover politics. We're talking about things, but I had a few people, obviously, because I do cover the things that are going on in the world, because obviously as a prepper, it's got to be affecting us in one way or the other. Yeah. And I had like 3 or 4 people ask me, because the guys in America were like, obviously prepared for special guests for the election. Everybody's really worried, but I had literally, I kid you not, 3 or 4 different people on different instances emailed me saying that they had some intel information about, and they're saying that apparently that's going to have like massive effect on UK, not in a political way with the Labour and the war in Ukraine supporting, none of this. They indicated that it would be something a bit more like, bigger and more, more
serious.
Yeah, more so scary. As I said, because I don't have anything to fall back on to prove the things, I can't put up the video to tell people out there, look, I've been told that we're going to be like fucked in the next couple of days. I can't do that because I don't know. But it's kind of, if one person said something, I'm like, okay, whatever. But because few message, I'm like, okay, I don't know. I can't see it. I can't see any other impact apart from political impact, and obviously our taxpayers' money going to paying stuff that we don't want to pay without being asked. Anything else like that, and obviously, I don't know. But for some reason, it's just whether the whole social media created this really uneasy feeling. But I'm certainly not looking forward to the day on Tuesday. I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll tell you what my thoughts are, Anna. When you look at what Trump, Elon, and Kennedy and others, are talking about putting together and how they're thinking about changing things, there is no way that the people they're going to pull down are going to let that happen without an argument. Yeah. And what worries me is how far they would be prepared to take that argument. So, I know your channel's all about prepping. My channel's all about the food and farming, and I talk about being prepared for what's coming. And I can't emphasize enough. It's almost like it's deliberate tonight when we hit a subject they don't want us to hear about. I said, because you talk about the prepping, I talk about the farm and food and security side. I think that if anybody who watches this video does not take seriously the necessity to get a lot of food and water in the house in the next 24 hours, they are watching the wrong channel. That's as simple as that. Because
it's just in case, Mark, isn't it? It's just in case, just because we don't know. Nobody knows, and it's not us panicking people. I know some people say,
no, not at all.
We're always going on about it. We're going on about it, yes, because things are happening. We don't know really to the extent, like, yes, we're predicting like maybe tomorrow, the day after, 2 weeks, next month, but things are happening gradually, and they are happening. But we've got to be giving people enough warning. Much rather tell you now, peeps, go up and buy stuff now, rather than say, peeps, go buy this, it might happen in the next month or so. And then it happens tomorrow, and everybody's like, oh, I wish you told us a bit earlier that,
Yeah, it's interesting, because I put out a post, I did a YouTube video a few weeks back where I asked people, I said, someone had messaged me saying, stop scaremongering. And I said, I don't see it that I'm scaremongering. I just see it that I'm trying to pass on from my side, my message to other people to just get prepared. And there was hundreds of comments from people all saying, Mark, you're not scaremongering. We're right with you. We've been prepping for years. Lots of people who said, that they followed mine and your channel. And as a result of that, they've been stocking up now for the last few months heavily because of what we've been saying. And I think that people's perception of what is reality these days has changed. When I was a kid, everybody stocked a pantry to get through winter. These days, you've gone again.
You're frozen,
Back,
yeah. It's the
um,
word pantry.
so, so you know, our grandparents, you know, came from different countries. You know, let's be straight about that. But
Yeah.
I guarantee they both did the same thing. They both
Oh,
prepped
yeah.
for winter. You know, and I mean, I was blessed that as a kid. My nan and granddad lived, you know, just a few doors away, Anna, and they really knew how to prep.
Yeah.
You know, they really did. The massive allotments, massive, you know, on the farm where granddad was, there was loads and loads of availability of food during the summer, prepped for the winter. Freezers were full. You know, the logs were stacked, the kindling was cut, you know, the onions were platted in the shed. Whatever it was to get through, we were going to get through no matter what.
But that was a way of life then, isn't it? That's what exactly
Yes.
the point. My motto is prepping is a way of life. It's not something you do, oh, hey, Preston, let's start prepping. Yes, some people do. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. If you haven't came from the family that, like the Amish family or other families, they rely on the food preservation as a key point of survival. So technically, yes, people should be, you know, doing that and, you know, giving it a bit of teeny weeny bit of urgency. But, you know,
Yeah.
like, sorry, no, go on.
No, go on. No, just agreeing.
Yes, the people who said about the preparedness, and people said to you, like, you scaremongering, but technically, right, people got to understand to some extent when you're trying to push, and we're not trying to push like really weird agenda, right? We're just trying to do in the best of good for the farming industry and for people and for generally for generations to be able to afford to eat a decent meal that's not full of bugs or anything else. So if me and you sit there and say, well, you know, shit's happening in the world, but hey, what do you know? I'm just gonna, I don't know, I might pop in and buy some beans. I don't know. It's up to you, really. What do you think? You know, what do you think? Honestly, it's not really
Gone
going to get
again.
the message across, doesn't it?
Gone again.
Yeah, but
Back
it's
in the
not
room.
really good. Yeah, it's not going to get the message across if we just say that, well, you know, things might happen but might not. It's not going to give people the urgency. See, to us, right, to me and you, to say to people like, go and get stuff now, it doesn't, like, it's only in the benefit of the people who are trying to do this, because you got to go and stock up, or people got to go stock up on the beans. It's not going to make me any money or going to make me any safer.
No,
for
absolutely.
them having the beans. Is on the benefit of those people to go and do that. So for us to just scaremongering is more so not scaremongering, but edging people, okay, to just beans, to just go and just do that, to understand that actually things are, you know, not right now things are going to happen, not, you know, but who knows, actually nobody knows, but yeah, well, people just need to understand that, isn't it, that
yeah, I think the challenge is, Anna, that we both understand, and I'm sure a lot of people watching your channel and mine do as well, that the manipulation, what's gone on to make sure that people don't follow the old ways, by making sure shelves are stocked in supermarkets until they want to go,
yeah,
you know, and turn it off, making sure that the TV programs are all about fast food adverts, and it's even built into the kids' cartoons. We were at my sister's the other day watching, my daughter's the other day, and SpongeBob SquarePants, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah,
he was on there, and it's just built into the kids' cartoons. It's oh, he's a burger,
Krabby Patties.
and I think that unfortunately people have got to take back some ownership, and that's one of the things which unfortunately I just think that we've given away everything that, you know, what used to make us human. We've given it away to governments and corporations. Oh, we're gone again. So yeah, I think that over the past years we've given away kind of our will to want to survive, and we've made it so that governments or corporations will come to the rescue and look after us. And, you know, oh, aren't supermarkets great? They've got all this food tucked away for us. And, you know, oh, isn't the benevolent government fantastic? You know, they're going to come to the rescue. Well, as they've proved in America, they ain't coming to rescue anyone, Anna.
No, and they, you know, not in the desperate times.
I noticed that the British government put out a thing the other day. The head of Ministry of Defence put out a thing saying people need to get prepared for this nuclear war, what allegedly is coming, and you need 3 days food put away. Anna, if there is such things as nuclear bombs and one was launched, what good's 3 days food going to be? What's going to happen after 3 days?
Yeah.
Because I can assure you the government ain't going to come knock on the door and say, surprise, it's all right to come out now.
I know.
You know,
I did the video on this like a few months back, and yeah, it's exactly that. It's like 3 days not going to save you, but I think they covered like if an event or when an event, like which are the words that they used in the report of certain things happening that you do. But we always suggest people like 3 days now, freaking forget it. To be fair, an average person should have 3 days worth of food in their house anyway. Just in case you piss your pants, you can't get out. I don't know. Just an example is there's things you just.
I think more than anything, Anna, as the biggest thing I've always said to people about the prepping side is, no matter how much food you've got in, you're never going to have enough. That's a certainty. But the biggest thing what always scares me is you, like I, Anna, witnessed 4 years ago when the toilet paper ran out, the pandemonium in the aisles of supermarkets, right? Now, can you imagine?
Toilet paper, Mark.
Oh, we're gone again.
They don't like the toilet paper word.
No, we saw pandemonium in supermarket aisles over toilet paper and tissue. Yeah. Can you imagine if that was food? People would kill for food. Do you want to be putting yourself or your children, your family in that environment?
No.
For the sake of having the food at home, to sit at home while all that carnage is going on. Let it go on. Don't be part of it. Don't be there. Get away from that as quick as possible. So for me, that's one of the reasons. Go on, sorry.
No, frozen again. No, go on.
I said one of the reasons that I definitely don't want to be, unprepared is because I don't want to put me or my family in that position. Yeah. If people are going to start getting silly, then I don't want to be part of it. I want to be tucked up on the farm, looking after me, and growing vegetables and trying to protect us, long term, because, I think you'd agree with me, Anna, if something serious kicks off, the reality is you've only got to get through the first couple of weeks, and most people won't be there anyway. So once you're through the first couple of weeks, it doesn't matter so much.
No. But I did the video the other day. I haven't published it yet, but it's just my little shopping things as I normally do for, guys across the pond to share the prices and stuff. But I kind of just thought about it, right? And I'll be absolutely frank, and some people might totally disagree and think, I normally, obviously during the COVID times, obviously haven't panicked buy, didn't have to, didn't need to. There was no issue because obviously been prepared, didn't need to queue up. So, that's what the preppers, the idea is for. But I just suddenly thought, buying the little bits and bobs, and obviously encouraging people to do so in a little bit at the time. And then I'm thinking, truly, and I thought, well, to be fair, every time there's some news comes up, like about a nuke or something else, I'm like, okay. And it's not all the time, but it just gets there like, okay, I don't feel like I'm prepared enough, right? And I'm probably prepared the most, but I'm still thinking, like, even as a prepper, okay, if is a true imminent, when you have this, I'm trying to explain this kind of properly. We all talk about SHTF, whatever kind it is, and we're talking about it, SHTF. If they truly think that you get this feeling when your heart drops and you literally, shit yourself as fear because something is truly going to be happening, I think I'll be still going to the shop, stocking up more, not queuing up or fighting with people, but if I had this feeling just before something happens and I feel like, do you know what? I think I really feel, or I can afford to do this, I will still go and do that. Many people might not agree with that, but I said, I'm not going to stand in queue. I'm not going to stand there fight people for the shelves. But if the supermarkets are still A-okay, there's the food still there, people not queuing because people might be still a bit step behind, which in many cases, again, you have layers of people. It's like skimming of people's knowledge to understanding of what's going on. If I'm one of the first to go in there, buy some bits, I think I'll just go and do that anyway. Because I think truly, for some reason, it just dawned on me literally the other day when I was doing the video that truly, when you truly realize that your life, or your family's life, is at a peril of somebody else or the risk of something, I still be going down there stocking up a little bit more. Because as you say, you can never really have enough. But if there's opportunity to make it just that little bit more, to do it. So my suggestion, like yours as well, if you have opportunity now, don't wait to this shit the pants moment and just go and just get a little bit extra now so you feel a bit better.
Well, I know what I would do. I'd be going ahead of the game.
Yeah.
I would find that money and go this week in a hurry.
It is hard. It's hard to think because we talk about it. We talk about many things.
Oh,
and
gone again. What?
I said it's hard, isn't it? Because we all talk about this stuff anyway, but none of us truly, I'm not saying none of us truly believe, none of us truly think it's going to happen, if that makes sense, or hope is not going to happen.
I think that's more of it, Anna. I think I think we all believe it could happen.
Yeah.
And I think we all live in the hope that it will never happen.
Yeah.
You know, I've been checking our preps of the last couple of weeks, thinking November the 5th heading in. And I've been doing a lot of checks on our preps, and I found loads of holes.
Yeah.
And I mean loads of holes. And the trouble is, if you go about your daily routine and you start breaking down your daily routine, you go, okay, well, you know, I lit the fire. Okay, do we have enough wood? Do we have enough kindling? Do we have enough firelighters? Do we have enough matches? You know, right, I've made breakfast. You know, I tipped some milk on some cereals. Okay, have we got powdered milk in case we need that? Have we got bottled water to make it? Have we got enough cereals? You know, have we got some sugar or some honey to put on it? You know, so everything we do probably has 5 or 6 denominations to it.
Oh yeah.
You know, so when you start looking at a day, a week, a month, you know, you start looking at it and you go, wow, this gets huge. You know, what you actually need round, you know, whether that's fuel for a vehicle or what it might be, you know. So you know, for us with animals on the farm, you know, we're always having to look further down the road for the preps. You know, if that animal isn't going to be big enough to eat for 6 months, then we need enough food to feed that animal for 6 months potentially.
Yeah, that's my hole in the preps. That's handled. But we all, to be fair, I think Mark is saying, like, I've come myself as a, I don't know, can't put myself as a experienced prepper in this for a while. Still,
you've gone again.
Oh no. Still come short in a certain things because it's very hard. It's easy, but if you really truly want to be totally preparedness for emergency, when you can make do with rice and beans and something else, absolutely, it's kind of easy. Get your basics out with water, 100%, like as a priority, rice, beans, oats, that kind of thing. But then if you want to thrive in that kind of things, and you more so don't want to go without, then that's a kind of different matter. I find myself constantly short of condiments, and I mentioned this on my videos. Condiments, I just seem to they just evade me. I don't know. I buy them and they just disappear. I've got a little one. She eats the amount of ketchup, and it seems to be like as soon as I open it and it's gone. Not that she eats tons of it. We don't. But it just disappears. I have no idea. It's a gremlin in the fridge or something. Horseradish sauces, that kind of thing. You know, it might sound petty to some people, but condiments are, and spices, anything, it's a godsend in emergency. Rice and beans, what's rice and beans be without a bit of herbs and spices, or say mayonnaise and tomato ketchup? It will just kind of, not that you ever eat that like that, but in a scenario of bugger all else available,
you might have to.
Yeah, and it just brings up a bit of in numbers and a bit of sugar, that kind of thing. But you see my point. But
I mean, I've been looking while I was looking through our preps. I've been we spent a day and sorted all our seeds out, and I was looking at what holes there were in that, and I've been saving seeds for ages, Anna, and I've got fucking loads. But I was going through it and I was like, we haven't got any of that. We haven't got any of that. We haven't got any of that. You know, if you really had to, go, right, well, for the next 2 or 3 years, we're not going to be able to buy anything. We're going to go without a lot of stuff. And so, I've recently ordered, lots more in. But I think the problem is that I'm going to get everything. I think that the thing is, you just have to keep trying and trying and trying to see that you've got everything. I had a big load up on batteries the other day because I noticed that I'd kind of got through a lot, with torches and things around the farm. Now the dark nights are coming. I was changing all the batteries and making sure everything was all right. And I suddenly got through sort of, 30 quid's worth of batteries in about 2 minutes. To just to make sure the torches and things were done. We've got security lights around the house and things, in case the power goes out and different things. And it's like, crikey, there's so much you've got to give thought to. So, and I've been looking at the veg beds and thinking, okay, well, I've put in a bee garden this year. And one of the things I want to extend onto that this coming year is the herb garden, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
interacting, you know, and making that an interactive thing for the bees as well. And you think to yourself, when you look at food, and like you, we've got a lot of rice beans and things stacked up, and you think to yourself, if you don't have something to make that flavoury, that's going to be bloody boring.
Food fatigue will kick in within a week. And literally, people will be sick of eating it. And you know, the food fatigue is like, it's literally, it's a thing, it's a physical thing. You get enough of something or had enough of something, your body or physically would not want to swallow it because you just cannot stomach it anymore. You know that the says I cannot stomach it. Well, yes, because it's a thing. So you're having this alternations of flavor is very, very important. And people underestimate. Is in a way is the cheapest thing or the easiest thing because you can grow them or you can buy them in a bulk. Although I've done a whole video, I don't know if you've seen that, but about this stuff being really diluted with really, really substances that we shouldn't be consuming. Things like turmeric being diluted with the white chalk. Many, many things up there. And I did this video, like, whoa. And it's slowly now, it's all coming out in the news bit by bit. So like mustard been diluted with the peanut powders for the colors. And it's a mind-numbing thing. Like, again, if somebody haven't watched it, have a look. It's scary. And one of the things I did was with the peppercorns. Apparently, peppercorns are half of them diluted with a papaya seed. Papaya seeds got similar flavor, peppery, still edible because apparently some people use this for chicken worming. But papaya seeds got different buoyancy to the pepper. So to check your peppercorns, take a glass, drop a bunch. A real pepper sinks like a lead to the bottom. Papaya seed float. Hey presto! I had one from a very reputable wholesale brand. And I did this and literally pretty much half and half. And then when you let them sit there for a day, you pick them up and a peppercorn, again, from the bottom, you peel it with your nails. The outer layer comes off and you're left with another ball, which isn't really a hard ball still, being the peppercorn still. And the papaya seeds, you peel it off and it just peels the layers and it reveals like teeny weeny bit like speckles inside. And that was that. And I was absolutely gobsmacked. But why is none of this? I really hope that video would have trended like big time. So people like, whoa, hold on a minute. Yes, it's edible, but the point is that you pay for something that you're not getting because papaya seed is cheaper than the peppercorns. And we're just gone along with it. And I was annoyed. Like, I really wanted people to know that. Just people to understand that.
I've got to be honest, I've never heard of that, and I'll happily share that. If you can share the link with me, I'll share that out because I've never heard of that. And I think
it's scary.
But I think what is scary in this, Anna, is you and I both know, and I'm sure everybody watching is going to know this as well, that there is so much corruption in the food industry.
Oh, yeah.
And so much lies and BS that we don't even know what the truth is anymore when it comes to food.
No.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
Oh, disappeared again.
Oh,
back in the room.
Yeah, you with me. Yeah, it's and it's more. I said it's more than what we understand, not more understand, more than we so far discovered. There'll be far more, and I think as we go on, that we'll be finding out stuff that's going to be very scary, almost to the point I think you don't want to know. Because half the things I didn't really want to know that because, well, what do I do now then? Do I drop all my peppers and take some out and then re-dry them and do that? We're going to do that. That's how you have to source like organic and trusted, people to buy from. You can't bloody trust anybody anymore. You really can't. That's the point.
Yeah, I think, as an industry, something that really should have been governed very, very strongly from day one.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to you since I made a video with Richard Vobes outside my shop. And I flippantly said, well, they thought I said it flippantly, but I didn't.
Right.
Okay. I had a phone call from Red Tractor to say that, I'd made a comment about vegetable washing. I don't know if you or your viewers know what that is. So vegetable washing is where something comes into the country. Let's say, tomatoes come into the country from Spain, Turkey, wherever.
Yeah.
They come in via a wholesaler. They're sold to a farmer. The farmer puts them through the packing plant on their farm as British grown produce and sells it under the Red Tractor label.
Yeah.
Red Tractor rang me to tell me there's absolutely no way that can happen.
Right.
I think there was somewhat of naivety from their side, because I said, okay, well, I take on board, and I made an apology video stating that, I was clearly wrong on what I'd said because of what they'd said, but welcomed anybody who knew of anything what was going on that was wrong, according to Red Tractor, to let me know. Anna, I had loads of messages from people who worked in the fishing industry. One guy messaged me to say, we haven't been catching a lot of fish lately, so we meet a Spanish trawler, we unload their fish onto ours, we bring it in, it goes in as Red Tractor from British waters, and it's from Spanish waters. To someone who worked, in an apple packing plant, and the apples are coming in. Someone who rang me who's a lorry driver and said, well, there's grain coming in from Ukraine, which was supposed to be going to Africa. It's coming via Belgium. It's shipped across to the UK, to Liverpool. Liverpool are sending it down to the Midlands to be ground up for Red Tractor wheat. And it's going on all over the place. And well, I genuinely believe from Red Tractor's side, they don't know it's going on. This isn't something that they're kind of going,
I disagree, I think, Mark.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Is it that someone's turning a blind eye, Anna? I don't know. Yeah. Is it that it doesn't happen? I don't think so. What I will say is there is plenty of evidence out there should Red Tractor want to investigate. And what I have suggested to Red Tractor is that this coming year, that maybe they'd like to take me on tour with them to go and inspect some of the plants.
That'd be a good idea.
On two conditions. One, I get to pick where we go. And two, they don't know until we're on the road where we're going.
Yeah.
So they can't tip anybody off. Then I think they might get a different view of what's going on. You know. So, I mean, there was loads of comments on my Facebook about it, and across social media. Do they know it's going on? I just can't believe they can't think it goes on.
I don't know, but I had on my list, right? We're not going to cover this. Like, obviously, I had other things, but time is now pushing on that way, so we can cover this in the next video. But talking about the Red Tractor and the farming things, right? Just again, without naming the supermarkets, but every supermarket has their own brand farm. It's sorry, I can't say. I don't want to say it. It's a farm, and then you say, "Well, this farm, okay, that's great. Yeah, this farm in UK must be like apples from UK, great." And then you see the same farm, and it's that's selling something else that is from China or from Spain. It's like, well, can't be the same freaking farm then, can you? If you've got some of this from there, some of this from there, some of this from there. Oh, guess not the same farm. Oh, let me guess, it doesn't bloody exist. It's just all there to make this little cute thing for people, like, oh, it's a little farm, because it's got the farm name. Oh, better buy this one than something else. It doesn't freaking exist, but it's made there for consumerism, for people to make not bad decisions, but make decisions that are people thinking are making the right decisions. Buy this from the farm. In fact, they still buy from one company. They just buy shit from different countries, repackages it, and calls it a farm, and thinks it's bleeding okay. That's, to me, something wrong with the trading standards. It's a false advertising because it's not from that farm. It doesn't exist. God, get this off my chest now. I feel a bit easier.
Trading standards. I mean, there's a classic one. I mean, I have a really good relationship with trading standards locally. I have to say, in Suffolk, the lady who's in charge of trading standards has been very, very good and very supportive. But when we first met, I was running a charity shop, and my mum made me a load of marmalade to sell in the shop. And they came in to tell me that we couldn't sell it because it hadn't got the right label on it. And I said, well, it's made by my mum. And no, you can't sell that. And I stuck to my guns, and I gave this woman both barrels. And she wrote chapter and verse back to me. And over the course of, lots of dealings with each other, we ended up with a really nice relationship. And she would ring me and say, oh, have you thought about this? And, and I'll give you a classic example. Through lockdown, we wanted to be able to bag flour on the farm because we could buy it in his sacks, but we couldn't sell it. You know, we weren't allowed. And she designed and sent us the labels to put on it because she knew
Right.
we wouldn't have time to do it, and she had because she couldn't go and visit anybody. So
Right.
I think trading standards have the ability to pick on the little people.
Yeah.
And a bit like probably Red Tractor, they, you know, the big people who pay them a lot of money perhaps get overlooked. I don't know if that could be the case. I mean, I did mention to them when I spoke to them that I happened to be on a big estate farm in Norfolk, which I think is the biggest estate in Norfolk. And I was there when they were bringing bulk loads of red onions in, bulk loads, which were coming into Ipswich Dock out in boatloads. They were being put onto bulkers, driven to their farm in Norfolk, where they were being packaged under Red Tractor as locally grown onions from their own farm. Well, they had come from their own farm, but that farm they came from was in Egypt. So, but it was owned by that farm.
I know. It's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible.
So, you know, you look at all this and you think, and I, even when I gave them the examples and gave them things to look at,
no, I didn't want to know.
They must be looking at it in the background, Anna.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway. Do you know, with so many other things I said we left there, but again, we'll do something again, not next week, but maybe the week after, because I know you've got commitments and stuff. So.
Next weekend I'm at the Great Resist, doing a speech on Saturday up in Derbyshire. That's something I'm really looking forward to with the guys up there. I'm actually on stage this time with Ben Habib and Andrew Bridgen, two of my heroes. So I feel blessed completely to be on stage with such great people. So yeah, I think it's just great, Anna. I think you know, to you, thank you for having me back on the show again.
Well,
to you, thank you.
Pleasure having you. People love our discussions, so.
Thank you for what you do for the community. I think that people perhaps need to go back through some of your older videos and have a bit of a refresher on how to pickle things and things. You know, and I see that your numbers are going up considerably since when we first met. I think you had about 7,000 followers.
Yeah, I know. It's over 11 now. I had like 1,000 subscribers in the past 2 weeks, I think.
Wow.
Well, not think it was that. I know. It's been, yeah.
Well, since I've not been on, you mean?
No, you've not been on for like 4 weeks. But nonetheless, we're not going to leave it for that long. It's just literally just commitments that you and me had that unfortunately left it for so long. But we're not going to keep the guys in the suspense for that long. But the really favor we really want is for people just to kind of share not necessarily this video, but we've done obviously all the videos are under my feed. You click like so you can look through all the other stuff.
Oh, you've disappeared again.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Back in the room.
Yeah. So all the other videos we've done, all the chats are under live things that people can look through, and just to share this massive agenda that we couldn't fit in the past 10 videos. It's just constant things going on, but people just need to be aware. People need to prepare. And of course, please, guys, subscribe to obviously Mark and myself if you're not, just to follow up on, you know, it's not just chats, isn't it? We do enlighten people and teach people other stuff that people we think need to know to kind of combat the future uncertain times, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. I just noticed that Jane said on there whereabouts we're speaking in Derbyshire. It's actually completely sold out, but it is going to be live streamed on the day. So if anybody wants to tune into that under the Great Resist, then I'm sure you'll find it on social media. Yeah,
awesome. Okay, then, guys. Well, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Again, obviously, comments down below, and any emails, let us guys know, and we'll see you all in a couple of weeks.
Anna, as ever, it's been great to see you, darling.
And you too, Mark. Take care. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.